The Ocarina of Time is the greatest game of all time. If any game out there could cure cancer, this is the one. Fuck if I know how a game can cure cancer, if anyone can cure it, but I don't doubt the Ocarina of Time. I love all the levels when you play this game. That includes the water temple. Sure, call me Psychopath Pete, but damn it, I love this level. Or maybe I'll just say like this level, but it is quite fun. So after you've beaten all the main levels in the game, you get one last challenge. And that is to beat the big man himself. No, not God. I think that would ensure my one-way ticket to hell if I'd actually beat him. Once all the sages have been saved, you get access to Ganon's castle and fight the Emperor of Evil. It's even more dramatic when your reunion with Zelda is short-lived and Ganon kidnaps her. Not sure why he doesn't do that to you as well and make his life easier, but whatever. So off to Ganon's castle you go. And after this insanely epic game, with levels that cause orgasms, are you ready for one final epic level? Well, I'm not sure. I was thinking about this question one day and I realized I wasn't immediately saying yes. Something about this level doesn't excite me as much as the other levels. Sure, it's fun, but I played the game for the other awesome levels. This is like the cherry on top that just doesn't feel ripe to me, I guess. But maybe I'm being too harsh and not being fair to this question. So today I'm going to break down the final dungeon and its components and answer the question, is Ganon's castle a good end to the game? My guess is it actually is a good end, but I don't know this yet as I'm not that far into writing the script. Yeah, I really do make most of the shit up as I go. I sound like BuzzFeed News or something. Just fucking more useless than a stop sign in the parking lot. I want to tackle the main portion of the dungeon first, and that is the mini-dungeons. I feel like in many Nintendo games, especially Zelda games, is what they do in the final level is take several components of the previous level, and they put a mini version of it inside the final level. It does make it a good way to summarize the game. It's like giving you a well-paired dessert of the levels at the end of the main course. Ganon's castle has 6 of them, based on all the temples in the game. Yep, that includes the Light Temple. It joins the party. I feel like these mini dungeons are hit or miss. Like, there are some of the dungeons that just don't hit it as well. The forest feels like it uses wind and hover boots in the Shadow Temple, which don't really make sense for what the Forest Temple was. The fire section is kind of a worse version of the first lava room in the Fire Temple. The water area is actually more Ice Cavern, which I will say does make a bit of sense. The player's kind of done with the whole water aspect of this game. And I'll say the Ice Cavern part's probably one of the better areas. The Shadow Temple is a slow walk with the Lens of Truth that kind of annoys the hell out of me, because if you fall off the ledge, you're fucked. It's kind of annoying. It's also smart to do this one first, as you get the dungeon item, the Golden Gauntlets in it, which, as dungeon items go, is a little weak. I think the Spirit one is my favorite. It doesn't give the same rewarding feeling as beating the Spirit Temple, but does use the Mirror Shield quite a lot and give you a lot of puzzles that feels like the Spirit Temple as well as a mix of Ganon's castle. I don't know what to do with the Light Temple, as it wasn't actually a real temple. It does have some small keys though, so it gives it the most temple-like feel, I'd say, of all the adult dungeons. I also have made about like 20 of these videos using that expression though, and it's just dawning on me how weird adult dungeon sounds. But yeah, these give little snapshots of each dungeon, but I feel like they didn't pick the best challenges or puzzles to represent them. And this is the main part of the dungeon too, so I wish it was better. This probably is what influenced my original thought of this question, why Ganon's castle doesn't really thrill me. But there are a few more topics that can change that. The first time you approach Ganon's castle, you would expect it to be that joyous, exclusive place hosting the royal family. Instead, it is a place where all hope has been sucked from the world, and your time there would be absolutely miserable. It's like being a Cleveland Browns fan. This right here sets a great tone. You know things have changed now that you're 17, like you got zits and shit and Ganon is conquering the world. You know the challenges ahead are going to be much tougher and darker, and the ambiance here really does set that tone. You also create Rainbow Road to get over to Ganon's castle, a shining glimmer of hope from the previous supports of your journey. So I can't say Outside the Castle has a ton going on with the level, but it does set the tone dang well. Now this is the part that is too iconic. Once those mini dungeons are done and the barrier is down, you can ascend to the top of the tower and face your foe. Each step you take, the level of epicness increases. The enemies get tougher and tougher, from the lizards to the Staphos to the Iron Knuckles. It's all building up to the final showdown of showdowns. Like, fuck the intro they do for like boxing and stuff where they have the little music going in. No. You gotta have each fighter climb a tower like this, so you truly know when you reach the top, it is staged a battle for the ages. And of course there's this. If that organ doesn't give you an orgasm, then sir, get on a bus, stare out the window, and rethink all your life choices. Last thing to talk about would be the final battle. And after that epic climb up the stairs, it's a good battle. The fights up there aren't exactly too long. You first start by playing the riskiest game of tennis with Ganon. You undo all your work of climbing up this tower by going right back down and escaping with Zelda, when honestly if you just look how the tower collapses, you could have just waited at the top. And then you duel the beast himself, which I realized was much easier when I learned you could just go right through his legs. So I'd say it's a pretty good final battle. I don't know if it meets the kind of epic standards the organ just set up for it, but it's still a pretty good battle. All those topics covered, here are the final rankings. The mini dungeons is the main bulk of this, so I should put that up there twice. If we even out the numbers here, we are right smack in the middle. So what we get here is good. So is Ganon's Castle a good end to the game? Yes,